Okay, so now that I did a video on Anna Kasparian leaving the left and, of course, her making it official, it's time to ask the question or explore what happens to her next.
You're full of crap, and you should go online and you should watch the videos of literal. We spent $13 billion in Los Angeles alone last year to combat homelessness. You want to know where that money went? That money went to these trash nonprofits who have a bunch of executives making $500,000 a year. You're working for a nonprofit dealing with homelessness.
Not bail eligible. Not a serious crime. I'm not even kidding, guys. I looked it up. It's real, guys. It's real. Listen, if being on the left means supporting this, then I'm not on the left, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so did further research because I just couldn't believe it. Here's more. With 2019 state reforms, mutilation and disposal of murdered corpses are among crimes that are no longer bail eligible. What are we doing? What are we doing?
People of doing things that they themselves engage in. And I was part of that too. I'm trying to do better moving forward. But a lot of people are going to look at this and think, oh, well, then that means she's a right winger. Whatever. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care what you label me as, but
just not birthing person.
Don't call me a birthing person.
Sometimes on the show, you don't know what we're referring to. Do we mean the whole left wing? Absolutely not. Okay, the majority of the left wing is perfectly reasonable on this.
Are they? You and I might
Anna,
have a disagreement here, Cenk.
I just figure I would play a few of Anna's greatest hits over the past couple of years. And of course, there's even some more out there, like, for example, her take on immigration. But before we dive into this, before we get started, I want you guys to go ahead and I want to give you guys a bit of a heads up. There's probably going to be 2 to 3 videos out tomorrow, including this one here. I'm going to go ahead and make this video now because I haven't had really time to actually get it out there. Of course, it was supposed to come out on Saturday, but I got kind of bogged down once again. But don't worry, I'll have some updates out here in the near future to kind of let you guys know what's going to happen as far as weekends are concerned starting next year. I know I'm talking about next year a little bit early, but I'm just going ahead just kind of looking at things now. The videos that are probably going to come out, the main feature video is going to come out like 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow. Is going to be this news. It's going to be about this Axios article that's detailing everything that's going on between the Biden campaign and the Harris campaign, because it looks like the Biden people are kneecapping the Harris people, which is absolutely hilarious to see, especially given this right here that was posted by the Calvin Coolidge Project roughly, let's say about an hour ago before I decided to start recording. And given all the stuff with Iran, and now there's a hit list out on Trump officials from Iran. Yeah, it's kind of funny to see exactly what's going on, but we'll talk more about that in the feature video. However, there may be another video sandwiched in between, kind of going back to the video that I posted at 5 o'clock on Monday. So I just figured I'd go ahead and give you guys some heads up, just tell you guys what's going to be coming out. Also, something else too, make sure you guys go ahead and turn on your notifications so that way you guys notify when the videos come out. Please go ahead and hit the like button for the algorithm so that way the algorithm will pick up the video. Just hit the thumbs up button right there. Doesn't cost you anything, and let's go ahead and get into this. So, what is going on here? So, as you guys know, last week it was announced that Anna Kasparian, she basically came out, posted an article, which will be in the description box for you guys, where she detailed why it was that she was officially leaving the left. Now, there are some people out there, and I still have no idea why the Aristocrat Utensil Spoon, I'll link his channel in the description box for you guys. I advise you guys to go check him out. Very smart guy. He made a video a while back on this, and he basically said that Anna was never really and truly a leftist. I kind of concurred with that, and I said basically in the last video, which will also be in the description box, that I felt that what was going on was that Anna had chosen a team that she felt more aligned with, but was never really and truly an actual leftist, or else she would have stayed with the left-wing cult. And of course, here we are, and she's now saying that she is no longer on the left. She would then turn around after that, and she would go to the Jillian Michaels show, or Jillian Michaels podcast, and she would basically explain for about 2 hours why it was that she chose not to remain with the left. And of course, some of that bit, of course, included the, it included the bit where she was attacked outside of her home. But of course, there was a lot more that was discussed in the podcast, which I'm going to kind of go over a little bit now, because if you look at the actual complaints, you can kind of get an idea of exactly where a person is going to go to. Now, before we do that, we're definitely going to be talking about the mental side of this, because obviously there are people out there like these morons from the Vanguard.
But she genuinely seemed to be happy. Now, I really do get the sense that she's bitter. I really get the sense that she's like, just not where she wants to be. I'm not sure why. It's kind of sad almost the more I think about it.
who give us the drivel that she's basically spiteful and, of course, that she's very, very bitter, when in reality, if you really and truly think about it, she's probably the happiest that she's ever been and the happiest she's been for a while. And, of course, I always harken back to that little bit on the Stitch and Adam show where she basically, let's just say, she even said that she was in a much, much better mood nowadays. We'll talk more about that over the course of this video because we got to talk about the mental side. And, of course, I'll be coming back to what was said in this video right here by Sabby Sabs, which, of course, I'll link in the description box because I won't be playing any of it because you'll just be exposed to leftist drivel for a while and kind of answer that bit on whether the Young Turks itself was going to turn into something like, say, breaking points like Crystal and soccer. I will talk about that there towards the end, but let's go ahead and get to these bits from the Jillian Michaels show.
$1 billion on the homeless issue over the last 5 years. And I say squandered because there was recently an audit that wanted to see, like, okay, where did the money go? Because over the last 5 years, we've spent all this money, but homelessness has exploded. Homelessness has increased by 58% since 2013. Okay, so obviously this money isn't going where it was supposed to go.
Right.
And so it turns out that the state government started giving out these grants not during, but after 2020.
Okay.
And the grants that they would give out to were these nonprofits, newly formed nonprofits in many cases, that were tasked with helping the homeless. Except some investigations found they weren't actually helping. When you have that experience here, right, in California, and you see how all of these politicians who have all of these friends, who run all of these nonprofits, who stole our money, when you see that, it's really hard to have these conversations about how we need to increase taxes on anyone.
But when Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters are willing to have a conversation about a hearing on health at the Capitol, and CNN tells me I'm anti-science, I mean, my God, where do you think I'm going to lean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I let that one run for about 1 minute and 20 seconds, a little bit longer than I normally let the clips run, but I want to get as much context as possible in there. And of course, I'm also showing you guys some stuff right here in the B-roll footage that I also pulled from Twitter, which is also from the previous video that I did on this topic, where she talked about her experience with being attacked by the homeless. Now, the thing that you got to understand about living in California, and I get this a lot, and I don't even know how the hell it even started. I may even do a video project on that one day, but of course, California has been becoming unlivable for a very long time. As a matter of fact, California was thought of to be kind of sort of the jewel of America. I remember growing up, being an 80s kid or being born in the 1980s and raised during the 90s, California was kind of propped up as the place to be. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it was no longer the place to be. And I think it started right around the mid to late 90s. There are a lot of reasons why this probably might be the case, but obviously if you live in the state of California, then you know exactly how nuts it's gotten. You're allowed to basically rob $950 worth of stuff from a store and not actually go to prison, something to do, or go to jail, something to do with how law enforcement's being done there. Cops are not even allowed to be cops. The laws of, let's just say that some of the laws that Gavin Newsom has signed recently, whether it be about CP and, of course, also CM. I have to use acronyms or initials so you guys can kind of figure out what's going on. The people who actually, the PDF files, the ones who actually commit the crimes are basically being let go. They pretty much legalized in some areas. And then, of course, there was also that bit with reparations. And, of course, you've got people ginned up constantly. As a matter of fact, one of the names for this channel I'm thinking about calling it is Ginned Up. With John Claymore, or possibly all gassed up because, of course, we all know the gaslighting of the media. They got these people believing they're going to get reparations when obviously no California politician, no California governor is going to sign that into law. Now, Anna, of course, is talking mostly about nonprofits. And, of course, she's obviously upset with the corporate side of what's going on in California. But I have to remind people all the time that the Young Turks got $25 million from Buddy Roemer and Jeffrey Katzenberg, to basically put out this mindless propaganda, this mindless dribble. So I can't sit here and say that these people don't like the corporate side when obviously they're getting kickbacks of some kind from the corporate side. But the thing about Anna, I think, is the fact that she, without actually saying it out loud, is tired of the cost of living. She's tired of the homeless, and of course she had that incident where she got attacked by a homeless man, and of course that kind of woke her up to the realization that the homeless issue is in fact dangerous. Even Michael Rappaport's crazy ass went on the Patrick Bet David podcast, and I did a video on that, and basically said that the homeless problem was in fact dangerous. which is one of the main reasons why I chose to move to New York, which, by the way, is also a dangerous place as well. But still, though, the point is this right here. I think that Anna living in California and seeing everything that's going on really woke her up to what's going on in that state. I think it was a while back, there was a... Let's just say, speaking of the homeless, a while back, Xi Jinping showed up to San Francisco, and Gavin Newsom was able to clean everything up, get the homeless off the street, get all the crap off the street, because, of course, they've got a map system out there where you can actually see where people are defecating the street at, to places to avoid crack pipes, drugs. It's just a great big giant crap hole. It's not exactly the jewel of the country that it once was. And of course, the California cheap rent is no longer cheap. It's now through the roof. It's actually got the highest cost of living in the country itself, I think, outside of New York. But still, though, the fact of the matter is that what Anna is not going to fully tell you in these bits, of course, was that California was getting a certain way. And I think that she began to realize that, yeah, this is probably not the direction we need to carry the nation. And of course, a lot of people on the left want to Californianize the United States, but we got more to talk about.
Time I was pretty viciously demonized by my own side was when I opened up about, I've talked about this so many times. I feel bad repeating it, but it was really that big moment for me, right?
Yeah, mine was the you're a fat shamer because I said I didn't want Lizzo to die of diabetes. I was like, wait, when did we start celebrating?
And now she's getting healthy. Like, now she's working out.
I watched them attack her, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to start. Or say she's on Ozempic. I saw that happen.
Oh,
she's
I
like,
saw
I'm
that
not.
The insults, the constant infighting, the constant attacks, we'll get to that more towards the end of the video, because obviously I'm going to talk about these two knuckleheads one more time that I played for you guys earlier. But here's the thing. The body positivity stuff. Yeah, you're getting people killed with the body positive stuff. Lizzo, we used to make fun of, we still do from time to time, but we're glad to see that Lizzo is losing weight. We're glad to see that Lizzo is actually trying to put forth some form of effort to prolong her life. Now, whether she maintains it or not, I hope and pray that she does. I'm not a complete, total, cynical dickhead, just letting you know right now that I'm not completely heartless. I'm heartless in tone, and I sound kind of mean and gruff in tone, but of course, if you come around, then obviously, if you do the right thing or you begin to improve yourself, you will get praise even from someone like myself. The fact of the matter is that the left is extremely toxic, and that is the real reason why it was that Anna chose to leave. But let's look at the rest of this, and then we'll get to talking about the actual mental health side of things and why it is that I don't think you're going to see Anna make an olive branch to go back or even remain on the left going forward. Now, I figured I'd leave the Ozempic thing in there because Ozempic is something that I think the body positivity people need to understand, that maybe Ozempic is being, let's just say, it may be recommended just for someone to take to initially get them started, but after a while, you're going to have to get off those drugs and those medications if you want to lose weight and get healthy, in the right way. I have to be a much, much more healthier lifestyle, even though I've never been completely unhealthy. But then again, though, when you are told that you have a little thing that, quite frankly, you got to live with for the rest of your life, that is a disease that affects your arteries primarily and could eventually kill you if you get lackadaisical, guess what? You're going to have to make some changes in your lifestyle. And of course, outside of the medications, you still need to work out. You still need to eat properly. And of course, people like me who used to smoke and drink have obviously got to stay away from that crap there. The fact of the matter is that the left is not exactly okay with anything called accountability, self-accountability, and also to go on top of that, they expect you to live to a much, much higher standard than you want to live yourself. They hold you to the most ridiculous standards out there. But I did say that I wanted to go back to the knuckleheads who were talking earlier. Well, let me play this clip for you guys one more time and explain to you why it is that Anna definitely made the right decision about leaving the left, not just for her own, well, I'm pretty sure you guys will get the point after you see it one more time.
But yeah, I just think it's like, she's projecting all of this onto the left. And I think that a lot of people, when they become right wingers, when they make this transition from a more liberal, progressive person, a lot of times later in life, they'll make this transition into right wingers. A lot of times I do think it's out of bitterness. It's out of rejection. It's out of some feeling that you're not good enough and you have to scapegoat other people. That's how this stuff starts.
Okay. Now, nothing this guy said is accurate at all. Like I said, Anna's been slowly but surely waking up over the years. Past couple of years, it's been going on for quite a while. And I can tell you right now, the red pilling process normally leads you to another red pilling experience and then another red pilling experience. And you typically tend to learn this through actual personal experience, living through something, seeing that, of course, it's not exactly the ideal utopia that you've been told it was. I had to try to squeeze that last little bit in before cutting the camera off because I was sneezing. But the fact of the matter is this right here. Anna obviously did what she did because it was driving her absolutely insane. Now, guys, I plan on doing some more videos on this particular topic, but 8 separate studies showed you that people on the left tend to be less attractive than people on the right. Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, it has to do with overall accountability, keeping yourself in great physical shape and also keeping yourself mentally satisfied. It's also about mental health. There's also several studies out there that show that the left is prone to mental illness and emotional illnesses a lot more than people on the right. Now, Anna's obviously not somebody on the right. She's obviously still somebody that's on the left, but not an actual leftist. Let me go ahead and break this down for you. There are people that are on the left who like, certain left-wing ideals or certain ideas from the left and therefore will not vote for anything on the right. There are also people who have some right-wing beliefs with some also left-wing beliefs. They typically tend to be kind of a very, very weird moderate. You have true moderates who are true centrists, but then you also have right-leaning, left-leaning moderates, all types of stuff there. And, of course, you have the classical liberal, and, of course, that they're being actual liberals themselves. But then you've got hardcore leftists or leftists, as you might want to call them. Anna was never really and truly a leftist. She was probably always somewhat of a moderate liberal to an actual liberal, and that right there is as far as it goes. Jillian Michaels also said in her experience before she left California that she was in the exact same way. She talked about the infinity stones of wokeness that she had. She talked about the fact that she was gay. She was married to a gay woman. She talked about the fact that she adopted a child, had a child, also mixed race. She had all the infinity stones of wokeness in the world, and yet it still was not enough for the loony crowd in the state of California. And also the fact that California has turned into an absolute crap hole. I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. It wasn't doing these people anything as far as their mental health was concerned, so obviously they got tired of the BS. Anna Kasparian left the left because the mental faculties were just completely strained. That's the truth about Anna Kasparian. I've also talked about those mental illnesses several times on this channel, and normally when you leave something like the cult of the left, yes, you begin to get a little bit happier. So to those knuckleheads from the Vanguard who believe she's unhappy, you clearly do not know a woman. Then again, they've never actually touched one or sniffed one, so how the hell do you expect me to expect them to think that they understand Anna or what Anna's going through, or even what Jillian Michaels is going through? The point is this right here. Anna, you can tell, is feeling a lot better. She's doing a lot better. It's been this way for a while. And I think what finally happened was that the brain eventually broke. She got to the breaking point and said, you know what, I'm just done with this. And, of course, it took somebody from her own side to actually insult her to push her over the side. I don't have the tweet, but, of course, I'll link some of these videos here in the description box for you guys. That way you guys can see what other people were saying. Basically, somebody called her out, and she basically responded with, you're in a cult. It was over something completely stupid. Basically, what happened in this case was that Anna Kasparian just said, screw this right here. I'm done with you people. That right there is the end of it, and I'm out. But that right there does leave the question of what happens to Anna next. In Savvy Sab's video on Anna Kasparian leaving the left, she basically came to the conclusion about midway through the video that she believes what's happening is that TYT, the Young Turks, are going to go, in the direction of what Breaking Point, Sagar and Getty and Crystal Ball are. She basically would be the Sagar to Jink, but I don't think she would be the Sagar to Jink because if you've ever watched Breaking Points with Sagar and Getty, you will see that Sagar and Getty is an extremely weak, right-leaning conservative. Very weak. He doesn't even put up a good fight against Crystal Ball. He's terrible at it. And if you look at some of the recent stories that TYT has talked about, they basically come out and said they think that Kamala Harris is going to lose the election. They've taken the position that you would normally get from the Hill, from Breaking Points, you would normally get from Rising. They're taking the exact same takes, which might make you think that, of course, this is the direction that they're going in. However, I don't think that's going to be fully the case. You see, my feeling is that after this election, what's going to happen is that Jink and his lack of wisdom is going to go out of his way to continue to try to get the Democratic Party to just pull themselves further and further and further to the left. Jink's biggest issue is that he'll sit here and he'll scream and holler about the Democratic Party being super right-wing when it's obviously very, very left-wing, and then he'll turn right back around and simp for Democrats a little bit later. He's never going to leave that batch, and Anna, I think, knows this. My belief is that Anna, at some point in time, will, of course, just eventually come out and say that I'm done with TYT. I'm tired of pushing an agenda that, quite frankly, the Democratic Party is never going to go for. And, of course, these people are absolute loons, and I think it's eventually going to cause a break, and she's eventually going to leave TYT. Now, after that, I'm not too sure where she's going to go, but I'm pretty sure that a PragerU video probably does exist in her future. With that right there being said, guys, make sure you guys please tell me what you guys think. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. Definitely cut the notifications on so that way you guys notify when my videos are released. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here for the evening, and I'll have those other 2 videos to come out tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.